good morning. Today we are going to start the 24th chapter, right? 24th chapter. It is about dispersion. It is dispersion. That unit is dispersion. In this dispersion topic, today's topic will be, in this chapter, today's topic will be quartile and interquartile range. So, first of all, we will try to understand what is the dispersion, right? Dispersion is the degree to which the numerical data tends to spread about an average value is called as the variation or dispersion of the data. In short, in simple language, if we try to understand the word dispersion, it means it talks about how the data is spread or squeezed, right? This talks about how the data is distributed. So basically, dispersion talks about the distribution of the data. It gives us the detailed information that how the data is spread or squeezed, right? So that is the meaning of dispersion. Now in the dispersion, the first thing that we have to know is a term called as range, right? Range is the difference between the largest value and the smallest value. So when you have a set of data, right, from that set of data we can identify the smallest value and the biggest value, and the difference of these two values is called as range. Next term is quartile. This is very, very important. Quartile, right? What is quartile is? Quartile means median. Quartile means actually the meaning of the meaning of this word quartile is median, right? This is a special median, right? So how do we get this median? There are 3 points. There are 3 points which divides the given set of arranged data. Arranged data means after the data is arranged in ascending order or in descending order, right? So the 3 points which divides the given set of arranged data into 4 equal parts, right, is called as quartile. So these quartiles are the 3 points which divides the given set of data into 4 equal parts, is called as quartile, right? So there are 3 points to divide the total set of data into 4 parts. So these 3 points are called as quartiles, right? The first point is called as the lower quartile, which is denoted by Q1. The second point is called as simply quartile, or we call it as median, right? And we denote it by Q2. Third one is the upper quartile, and that is denoted by Q3. Is this very clear? So this is the definition of quartile. Quartiles are those 3 points which divide the given set of arranged data into 4 equal parts. These 3 points, the 3 points are Q1, Q2 and Q3. Q1 is lower quartile, Q2 is median, and Q3 is upper quartile. Is this very, very clear? Now, this is the formula to calculate the value of the lower quartile, and this is the position for. This is the position for the lower quartile. By using this formula, we can find out the position for the lower quartile, and this is the formula for finding the upper quartile. Am I very clear? Now, the interquartile range. You already know the range. It is the difference of the smallest value and the greatest value and the smallest value. Similarly, after having this Q1 and Q3, we will be able to calculate the quartile range. It is what? It is the difference between Q3 and Q1. It is the difference between upper quartile and the lower quartile. The difference between the upper quartile and the lower quartile is called as interquartile range. Clear? And therefore, we are calculating it by using the formula Q3 minus Q1. Now, in this exercise, we will be basically focusing on calculating the interquartile for all the 3 different types of data, for all 3 different forms of questions, all the 3 different type of questions. Clear? Here also we will have questions of individual series, we will have the questions of discrete series, and also we will have questions on continuous series. So we are going to see how can we calculate the interquartile range for all 3 different set of data, all 3 different types of data. Am I very clear? So one by one, we are going to begin calculating the interquartile range. So we are going to start first of all with individual series or simple distribution. Now we are going to start first of all with the simple distribution and the individual distribution. So we are going to start. I'm taking two questions, right, one by one. So first of all, we are going to do question number 2. Question number 2. Now you can see the question number 2 on the screen, right? Now here the question is to find out the lower quartile, upper quartile, and the interquartile range. So there are 3 things we have to calculate. So anyway, we are now going to start finding the solution. So the process is, first of all, if you look at question number 2, in question number 2, the data are not arranged in sequence. And you know that what we are asked to calculate is quartile. And quartile means median. Quartile is a type of median. And whenever we have to calculate the median, we need to have the data arranged in ascending order or descending order. Is this very clear? So first of all, we are going to arrange all this data in the ascending order. So arranging the data in the ascending order, I am writing this as 11, 12, 13, then 15, 16, 17, 18, 22, 23, 24, and the last data is 36. The last data is 36, right? In question number 2, you can count the total number of data. The total number of data in question number 2 is 11, right? So let us cross check whether we have taken all the 11 data or not. This is question number 2, solution number 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, we have taken all the data, and all the data are arranged in ascending order. Now first of all, we are going to calculate the quartile, the lower quartile. So lower quartile we will denote as 1, right? So for finding the quartile, what we will do is, you know the formula. Okay, so for finding this lower quartile, we will say value of the first quartile, the lower quartile is calculated by using the formula n plus 1 divided by 4, right? No matter how many data you have, no matter how many informations you have, you will use the same formula. For odd number of data or for even number of data, we will go with one same formula. So this is the formula for finding the Q1. So this will give you the position, and the data at this position will become the value of your lower quartile. Therefore, we are writing this as value of n plus 1 divided by 4. Clear? Where n is the total number of data. So this is, total is 11 plus 1 divided by 4. So this is 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. Am I very clear? So this becomes your, this is your position. This is your position. This is the position that you got, right? So value of this is the third data. Clear? And the third data is 13. Third data is 1, 2, 3. Third data is 13. So this becomes your lower quartile. Am I very clear? Okay. Now we are going to find the upper quartile. For this question, we are going to calculate upper quartile. For upper quartile also, we will say value of, how do you find the position for the upper quartile? It will be, the position of this quartile will be 3 times more than the first one. So that means this is going to be 3 times n plus 1 divided by 4. Is it okay? And this part, n plus 1 divided by 4, you have already calculated here, which you have got it as 3. So we can simply multiply 3 into 3 is equal to 9. So this is your term. Now the value of 9th term, right? Maybe I can write this as value of 9th term. Value of 9th term. Is it okay? Now let us see which term is at the 9th place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 23 becomes your upper quartile. 23 is your upper quartile. Hope I am very clear. 23 is your upper quartile. Now the last part of this question is interquartile range. Interquartile range. Interquartile range. And this will be Q3 minus Q1 is equal to 23 minus 13 is equal to 10. And this is your final answer. Once again, a very quick summary. The question was to find out the lower quartile, the upper quartile, and then the interquartile range. So first of all, what we have done is we have arranged the data. If the data is not arranged in ascending order, we need to arrange the data in ascending order. So we did it. And after doing that, then we are calculating the first lower quartile. And this we will use value of n plus 1 over 5. N plus 1 over 5, fifth term, right? This is number of term. So this is calculated, and therefore now we need the value of the third term. Value of third term. We will write here also value of third term. Third term. And the value of third term we have got is 13. Clear? And likewise we calculated this Q3. And after that we found the difference between these two and we got the interquartile range. Hope this is very clear. We will have one more question. Now we will move on to question number 6. Question number 6. Sorry, question number 5. Not question of 6, question number 5. Question number 5. Now, if you look at question number 5, you will be very happy to see that these data are all written in ascending order. That means this question is saving our time and we don't have to do the arrangement. So we can take the data as it is. So let me copy the data 5, 12, 17, 23, 28, 31, 37, 41, 42, 42. Let me change the pen. 42, 49, 54, 58, 65, 68, 73, 71 and 73. Only the last two datas are not in sequence, so we arrange this. Okay. Now we will just cross check. You can cross check it from the question and then see whether you have written all the data or not. Total number of data we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. So we have completed all the 16 data. Clear? Now we are going to find out the lower quartile. So Q1. Q1 is equal to value of n plus 1 divided by fourth term. Fourth term. Value of this term will be your Q1. Right? I told you whether you have odd number of data or you have even number of data, we will go with the same formula. So n is 16. 16 plus 1 divided by 4. So this is 17 divided by 4. That means this will come 4.25. Now this question became little different. That is why I am doing this question. If you remember the previous question, when we calculated the position, this is the position. And then this is term, right? 4.2x term. So in the previous question, you got this as a whole number, right? Therefore, the counting the position was very easy for us. But this time it has come in decimal number. So how can we find the value of this Q1 if you have the decimal, right? So this we will write. This we will expand and we will write. We will write here value. This we will write as value of fourth term, right? Plus 4 is out. Now what is left? 0.25. 0.25 means 1/4. That means 1/4 of the difference between the fifth term, because this is in between fourth and fifth, right? So difference between fifth term and then the fourth term. This part you have to understand. Is it okay? Now the value of the fourth term is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 23. This is 23 plus 1/4 of the difference between fifth and fourth. So fourth is 23 and fifth one is 28. That means 28 minus 23 is equal to 23 plus 1/4, and this is 5. So into 5, right? Now we can simplify. This comes as 25. This will become 1.25. So 1.25 plus 23. So it becomes 24.25. 24.25. And this becomes your Q1. Hope I am clear. Now likewise we will calculate Q3. Q3 is value of n 3 times n plus 1 over 4th term. 4th term is equal to, for this n plus 1 divided by 4 you have already calculated 4.25. So just 3 into this. So 3 into 4.25 is equal to, this is 12.75. This is the term. Clear? Now this also we have to break and then find out the value. So for this we can write this as value of 12th term plus 0.75 we can write as 3/4, right? You need to know how to change the decimal part into fraction, right? So 0.75 is multiplied by 100 and divided also by 100, and then simplify, you will get this as 3/4. So now 3/4. Now this is different between 12th and 13th term. So your 12th term is, okay, your 12th term is, this will be 13th minus 12th term. Clear? Now this is value of 12th term is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is 58. This is 58 plus 3/4 into, now 13th, this was, this is 12th, 58, and 13th will be 65. So 65 minus 58. This is equal to 58 plus 3/4 into what? This is 7. Clear? Now we need to find the value. So 7 3s are 21 divided by 4 comes as equal to 5.25 and then 58. So this becomes 63.25. This becomes your Q3. Hope I am very clear. Now the last thing is you have to find out the interquartile range. Once you have calculated Q1 and Q3, then finding the interquartile range is very simple. Interquartile range, I will calculate in red color. Interquartile range. Quartile range. This is Q3 minus Q1, and Q3 is 63.25 minus Q1 is 24.25. So is equal to 25250. Now 13 minus 4, 9, and 5 minus 2, 3. This is your interquartile range. Hope this question is very clear. With this we are done with the simple or individual distribution. After this, now we will move on to discrete distribution. Thank you. Okay. Now we are moving on to question number 8. This is one example of quartile and interquartile range for discrete distribution. And now, by now you are very much aware with what is the type of discrete distribution, in the discrete distribution, you used to have the quotient in the form of two column, right? So one column is used to be the x column and another column used to be the frequency column. So to save time, I have already completed the x column. Now I just need to give the frequency. So frequency is for this is 4. For this the frequency is 8. For this the frequency is 12. I am drawing the line so that you will not have any confusion. Then is 15. Then next one is 20. Next is 35. Then next is 50. Then next is 40. Then next is 20. Next is then 15. Then next is 24. Then next is 12. Then next is 5. And the last one is 3. So we have completed the question. This is just question completed. Now we are asked to calculate the quartile and the lower quartile, upper quartile, and also the interquartile range. Now since this is discrete series question, so what we need to do is we need to immediately draw a cumulative frequency column. Cumulative frequency column. You already know. Now I am not going to explain you what is cumulative frequency. The first cumulative frequency will be same as the frequency 4. Then diagonally we will add this is 12. Then we will add diagonally this is 24. Then we will add diagonally this is 39. Then we will add and this will be 59. Then this will be 94. This will be 94. Then this will be 144. Right? Then this will be 184. Then this will be 204. Then this will be 219. Then this will be 243. Then this will be 255. 255. Then this will be 260. And then last will be 263. I don't know. I try to do calculation verbally as fast as possible. So maybe there can be sometime error. Please cross check and then let me know if there is any error. So this is the cumulative frequency calculated. Now we are going to find out the two quartile. The two quartile. Is this very clear? So for finding the quartile, we will find out the position. We will find out the position, right? So the position for Q1, position for Q1, right, will be n plus 1 divided by 4. N plus 1 divided by 4, right? Where what is n? N is the final cumulative frequency. This is 263. So 263 plus 1 divided by 4. So this becomes 264 divided by 4. Clear? So simplify. 4 6 are 24 and 4 6 are 24. So 66th term will be your Q1. Now we have to find out where is the 66th term. Is this very clear? So let us start searching it. So 66. Is it here? No. Here we have only first 4 data. Whereas the position of our Q1 is 66. Is it here? No. Is it here? No. Is it here? No. Is it here? No. Why? Because up to here we have only first 59 data and our position for Q1 is 66. So therefore it is not in this lot also. Then we come to 94. Yes, our data is somewhere here in this lot, right? So we got the first location and then we can go to the corresponding class mark and this becomes. Is this very clear? This becomes your lower quartile. So your Q1 is equal to 7. Your Q1 is 7. Is it okay? Likewise, now we can calculate the value for Q3. We will calculate the value of Q3. Clear? So again, similarly, position for Q1, for Q3, position for Q3. You know what we do is we simply multiply this by 3. So 3 into n plus 1 divided by 4. And n plus 1 divided by 4, you have got 66. So therefore 3 into 66 will become the position for your Q3. And therefore 6 is 18 and 198. So this becomes the position for your Q3. Now find out. It's not here, it will be in this lot. So we can mark the corresponding class mark. This one, we will again mark this also with a red color. Is it alright? So with this we got our Q3 also. Therefore your Q3 is now equal to 8.5. 8.5. So after once we have calculated this Q1 and Q3, you can very easily find out interquartile range. So interquartile range, interquartile range. This is, you know, Q3 minus Q1, and therefore 8.5 minus 7 is equal to 1.5, and this is your answer. This is your answer. Hope this is clear. Once again, we will summarize this question. Okay, once again we will summarize this question. So for summarizing, we completed the cumulative frequency column. Then we have calculated the position for Q1, and then for this we have used the formula n plus 1 divided by 4, and then we got the position. Then we have searched the location of this 66th data. We came to know that it is somewhere here in this group. Therefore, we have picked up the corresponding class mark, corresponding size, and that became the Q1. Likewise, you calculated Q3, and then you have picked up the data, and after that you have found the difference between these two, and you got the interquartile range. So finding the interquartile range and then the quartile for the discrete distribution is quite simple comparing to simple or individual distribution. Am I very clear? So after this we will have one more question of continuous distribution. Thank you. Now we are moving on to question number 10, and this question is of continuous distribution type. Continuous distribution in which we have the frequency table, we have class interval, and we have the frequency, right? So here for this question what we need is, first of all, as usual, we will immediately complete the cumulative frequency column. So cumulative frequency will be 2, will be 20, will be 50, will be 95. Here this will be 125, this will be 145, this will be 151, and this will be finally 154. So this is cumulative frequency. Now the final cumulative frequency will tell you the total number of data, right? Now to find out the quartile for this question, we need to know the formula for calculating the Q1 and Q3. So for Q1, the formula we have is, for formula this is L plus I over F n divided by 4 minus C. This is for Q1. And for Q3, the formula will be simple, very simple. Q3 will be equal to, this is L as it is, this is I as it is, this is F as it is, and only this will be 3 times n over 4 minus C. Now here n over 4 will give you the position for your Q1, right? And 3 times n over 4 will give you the position for Q3, right? In the previous two type, we have seen the formula for calculating the position for Q1 and Q3 was different. The formula for was n plus 1 divided by 4. But here we are straightway we are dividing n by 4. Clear? So first of all, the important thing is to calculate the value of n over 4. Only then we will start processing everything. N over 4, right? N is n over 4. The value we will calculate, n over 4 is calculated. What is n? Is 154. 154 divided by 4. So this comes how much? 4 3s are 12, right? and then 334, right? So 4 8 is 32, 20, 4 3 is 12, 3 4 34, right? 4 8 is 32, 20, so 4 5 is 20. This is your value of n over 4. Clear? Now if this is n over 4, then you can easily calculate this 3 times the n over 4. That we will calculate later on. Okay? First of all, now we are going to find the value of q1. Is it okay? Now, how we will find out the q1? See this part very carefully. N over 4 you calculated 38.5. Now where is the 38.5? This 38.5 is where? Is it here? No. Is it here? No. Is it here? Yes. It is in the third row. It is in the third row. So this third row will have to be marked. This third row will be marked. And now we can get all the information from this row for your Q1. So now we are going to calculate Q1. Q1 is lower limit of this class interval is 20. So 20 plus, I missed the class width, the interval. So the difference between the lower limit and upper limit is 10. So this is 10. Now frequency of that class interval is 30. So this is 30. And now this n over 4 you have calculated 38.5. And C is the previous cumulative frequency. And that is minus 20. Clear? Now we can simplify and get the answer. So 20 plus 1 over 3, 0, 0 cancel. And then this becomes 18.5. Clear? Now we can simplify and get the answer. So 18.5 divided by 3 comes as equal to 6.1666. So 6.2 we can say. 6.2. Therefore 20 plus 6.2 will become 26.2, and this become your Q1. Hope I could make you clear. Now let us calculate Q3 with a different color. Q3. This we will use the same formula. Now you multiply this. We will find out the value of 3 times n over 4. Right? 3 times n over 4 is how much? Let us check it. 38.5 into 3. So it is coming as 115.5. 115.5. The value of this 3 times n over 4 is coming as 115.5. Now we have to find out where is 115.5. So after searching, we came to know that 115.5 will be somewhere here in this row. So we can mark this row also. And now we can get all the solution. Clear? So here the lower limit is 40. Lower limit is 40 plus I, the same 10. Then the frequency of that class interval is how much? 30. Here also 30. So this is 30. And now this we calculated 115.5. And minus the previous cumulative frequency is 95. 95. Clear? So this becomes 20.5. This becomes 20.5. This and this is cancelled. So 20.5 divided by 3 is coming 6.8. So 40 plus 6.8 is 46.8. 46.8, and this become your Q3. Am I clear? Now finally we will calculate the quartile range. So quartile range, interquartile range or quartile range, interquartile range. I will calculate with the red color. Interquartile range. This is equal to Q3 minus Q1. This is 46.8 minus 26.2. 26.2. Answer is how much? 8 minus 2, 6. This is 6 minus 6, 0, and then this is 2. So 20.6 is your interquartile range. Am I very clear? 26.6. Clear? So with this, we are ending the session of the quartile and the quartile range. Right? We have dealt with all the three type of questions. After this, now you need practice. Clear? Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe, stay home, and enjoy learning maths. Thank you so much.